So welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our second of this series of sharings of practices of mindfulness in the tradition of the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. And these are being shared by Ahimsa Trust, especially in the context of COVID-19, since many of us are now at home, living a slightly different life, or a considerably different life to what we were leading a few weeks ago. And of course, is very much like a retreat in some senses, of what we call in Buddhism a retreat. So we thought that it would be helpful to offer some practices that we could try to do ourselves or with our friends and in our community. So last week we focused quite a lot on the posture, the sitting posture, and also on the breathing. And today I thought we'll share a little bit more about the body, and including the smile, which is a key practice. I feel that I had offered some homework last week. I don't know whether this is, we've had to mute people, I think, so people can't respond immediately. But maybe I can just do a reminder in terms of the homework. And I don't know whether many of you managed to do that. One was, of course, just enjoying your breathing. And that in itself is a big secret of practice. And the other was trying to do that even when you're lying down, just enjoying the breath as you come in and as the breath comes in and out. And also pausing during the day, like we said with the bell, and also trying to create a space in the house, maybe like a breathing space or a breathing corner in your room. So I don't know how you managed, and now we're still trying to work out the technology of Zoom. We thought we'd have 500 option, an option of 500. We only seem to have 100 again, but I hope we work out those technicalities. But have a chance to do some. So today, as I said, we'll continue with the body, but the body has been mentioned by the Buddha in many, many sutras, and we know, again, as we mentioned yesterday with the last week with the Anapanasati Sutra, the 16 methods of breathing, the Buddha starts with the breath and the body, and then moves on to the feelings and the mind and the objects of mind. So he talks about at least 4 methods of meditation to do with the body, including the breath. And then in the other sutra, the Satipatthana Sutra, the sutra on the 4 foundations of mindfulness, he goes a little further, talking about how to not just be aware of the breathing and to calm the body, but also to become aware of the positions of the body. For example, the sitting position, the lying position, the standing position, the walking position, and also recognizing bodily actions like bending down, picking up something with our hands. So just being aware of these sort of bodily actions as we become mindful of them. So bringing awareness to everything. If I'm moving my arm, I'm aware I'm moving my arm. If I'm doing the Anjali Mudra, I'm aware I'm doing the Anjali Mudra. And then, of course, the other practice he suggests is observing different parts of the body. This is a very common but wonderful practice. It can be somewhat like scanning the body. We have medical scanners which scan the body. So in a way, looking over the body and scanning both the external parts of the body and also the internal parts of the body. And, we often don't become aware of our body. Our body is what we are. We're living this body very, very, in our real lives. But often we are not aware of the body very, very much. So this is really trying to bring an awareness to our body. We might be sitting sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours in front of a computer. And, we're caught up in our project, in our writing, maybe sometimes in some worries, and body is ignored. And so we are right in some other zone. So I feel it's important that we come back to our bodies, and we don't only live neck up, as it were. We often tend to live like that. I see people walking around sometimes. I need to be unmuted. And, we're walking so as if our head is moving forward and our legs are following behind. And that's how many of us tend to lead our lives. So I feel it's important that we look after our bodies in that sense. And when we bring our breath to be aware of the body, then we become much more mindful of what is happening with our body or how our body is positioned. And then our mind becomes a bit like an embodied mind, rather than just a body which is sort of not being taken care of. And so this contemplation of the body, the Buddha had a very interesting analogy. He said, it's like I was using the analogy of the scanner, but the Buddha used an analogy at his time, which was to do with a farmer. And he said a farmer might open a bag of different types of grain. And when he opens them, he looks at them and he sees, oh, so this is red rice, or this is brown rice, or this is black rice, or this is sesame seeds, or this is moong dal, or this is tur dal, or this is arhar dal, the different types of, lentils, or the different types of rice, or the different type of, til or sesame seed. And he says, oh, so this is sesame seed, and this is red rice, and this is brown rice. So in the same way, he says we should look at our body like that. We scan our body and look more attentively to each part of the body and name it and become attentive to it. And so this also allows us not just to be aware of the body, but also to offer a lot of gratitude to the body. I think we take our bodies for granted to some degree. And as I said, sometimes we live neck up. So we eat some things which are not very helpful to our body system. We often don't do exercise. We lead quite sedentary lives. And so part of this practice that I'm going to do today is also an appreciation for the body. All of us in our lives have some situation. I remember an uncle of mine who had a very, very severe asthma. And every breath he took, you go, and you can imagine each breath was a huge effort, just making that one breath. And speaking or as we are living, and we keep breathing quite naturally in this way, and we take it for granted. But when he lived there with his whole can of oxygen right next to him with each breath, we were very aware. If he went out anywhere, the bottle of oxygen went with him. And so I think we have to be aware of what a miracle each breath can be. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I had a small accident with my ankle. I had to be in a wheelchair for a little while. And I realized how important my ankle was. I mean, I'd never, paid much attention to my poor little ankle. And now I'm very appreciative of my ankle. I, say hello ankle nearly every day. And I'm attentive to it, I massage it. And as to other parts of my body, it made me much more aware of these parts of my body, which I just took for granted. And so Thich Nhat Hanh has a very interesting practice. He calls it the practice of the non-toothache. So hopefully none of us have a toothache right now. But actually, when we don't have a toothache, we can appreciate the non-toothache. That's what's important. So it's important that we appreciate that non-toothache. And so we can celebrate that non-toothache. So it's also celebrating the good health, not just the absence of, some sort of injury or some sort of difficulty. And once we appreciate those things, we can also use that energy to look after parts of our body which are not so well. So, and I think the other practice which happens pretty much automatically with this calming the body is also releasing the tensions in the body. We often carry a lot of tensions in our body, and it could be to do with some sort of mental stress. It could be to do with other situations. And as we scan the body, we become aware, where is that knottedness, where is that tension? And then we can breathe through that part to actually release some of the stress and release some of the difficulties we have with our body at these places. And not only release the tension, but we also become attentive. For example, our heart might be having a problem, and we don't have to wait for an attack, a heart attack, to tell us. When we are scanning the body, becoming aware of our heart, we know that it may not be doing too well. Or the liver, if we're drinking too much, and we are finding that we're getting the liver is packing up. That allows the awareness to tell us before it becomes too late. And so it's a way of being kind to our body. It's like a love meditation to our body. And I think if you can look at it like that, it's wonderful. Now, I wanted to add one more practice, which is an important practice. And I think it's a practice that the Buddha doesn't talk so much about, but it's sort of understood in his teachings. And Thich Nhat Hanh, or Thai, emphasizes it a lot. And it's the practice of smiling. Now, automatically, when we get a sense of well-being, we smile. We can only really smile when we are present. But we also know that if you're feeling a little grumpy and we do this sort of yoga of smiling, it has a neurological effect, and it also helps us to release certain hormones like endomorphins, which are like natural painkillers, or serotonin, which is considered the happy chemical, or dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical. So these sort of things get released by the smile, and also helps us relax about 300 muscles in our face. So all this actually has both a neurological, but also a sort of physical sense of well-being. And I think it's very important that we use that practice. It's not always easy to go around smiling like that, but even that gentle half smile of awareness, that half smile of offering love and care to your body. So, and as of course, the last time we said, we don't have to be a Buddhist to practice these things. We can just scan our body, and this practice will be a combination of an awareness practice, a practice of gratitude, and a practice of relaxation. So I'm going to offer this sort of guided meditation again, and then we will do a little bit, speak a little bit later, and maybe take a question or two after that. So I'm going to invite 3 sounds the bell to start the meditation practice, and then we will just enjoy our posture and our breathing as we scan our body. Thank you. So please sit in a comfortable way, relaxed, dignity, our spine straight. If you're sitting on a chair, you can have your feet on the ground. If you're sitting on a cushion or your legs crossed, you can just sit in an easy posture without feeling a stiffness. And just be aware of your whole body, sitting comfortably, effortlessly, and bring your attention to your breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in, and breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Just enjoying each breath as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And be aware of the whole length of the breath, from the beginning of the in-breath to the end of the in-breath, from the beginning of the out-breath to the end of the out-breath. Long breath, or a short breath. There's a breath that is getting deeper, that is getting slower. And bringing that awareness to the whole body. Breathing in, I'm aware of my whole body. And breathing out, I relax my whole body. Aware of my whole body, relaxing my body. And breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I feel a sense of ease in my body. Just feeling that stillness, enjoying the stillness of the breath with the body. And now we start the scanning of the body. Breathing in, I'm aware of the hair on my head. Breathing out, I smile to the hair on my head. Hair, smiling. Breathing in, I'm aware of my brain. Breathing out, I smile to my brain. The brain that controls most of the activities of our body. Our actions, our memories, our feelings. And breathing in, I'm aware of my eyes. Breathing out, I smile with appreciation to my eyes. My eyes that offer me sight to see the beautiful wonders of this life, colors, shapes. And breathing in, I'm aware of my ears. Breathing out, I smile to my ears. Ears smiling. And it's a smile of gratitude, helping me hear things, hear my children's voices, hear the birds in the garden. Breathing in, I'm aware of my nose. Breathing out, I smile with gratitude to my nose. Nose, smiling. Breathing in, I'm aware of my tongue. Breathing out, I smile to my tongue. Tongue, smiling. Breathing in, I'm aware of my mouth. Breathing out, I smile to my mouth. Mouth, smiling. Mouth just allows me to eat, speak. And breathing in, I'm aware of my smile. And breathing out, I smile to my smile. Smile. Breathing in, I'm aware of my neck. Breathing out, I smile to my neck. Neck that holds my head onto my shoulders, carries the weight of my head. Neck, smiling with appreciation. And breathing in, I'm aware of my shoulders. Breathing out, I smile to my shoulders. The shoulders that give strength to my arms. And many of us collect a lot of tension in our shoulders. Be aware of that tension. Breathe through that if you have tension in your shoulders. Allow your tension to be released, relax it. And breathing in, I'm aware of my arms. Arms that can reach out and hug my loved ones. So just feeling that gratitude to my arms as I breathe out. And breathing in, I'm aware of my hands and fingers. And breathing out, I smile with appreciation to my hands and fingers. fingers that allow me to write, to eat, to garden. And bring in awareness to my spine as I breathe in and smile. Spine, which gives us structure and support to our whole body. Breathing in, I'm aware of my lungs. And breathing out, I smile to my lungs. The lungs that allow oxygen to enter us and carbon dioxide to come out. And breathing in, I'm aware of my heart. Breathing out, I smile to my heart. The heart that pumps the blood through our whole body. And breathing in, I'm aware of my liver. And breathing out, I smile to my liver. Liver, smiling. The liver that cleanses the blood, or at least creates bile that removes the fatty elements in our body. Breathing in, I'm aware of my kidneys. Breathing out, I smile to my kidneys. Cleaning the impurities of my blood. Breathing in, I'm aware of my intestines. Breathing out, I smile to my intestines. Intestines, smiling. Breathing aware in, I'm aware of my hips. Breathing out, I smile to my hips. Hips, smiling. And breathing in, I'm aware of my legs and knees. Breathing out, I smile to my legs and knees. Legs and knees, smiling. And breathing in, I'm aware of my feet. Breathing out, I smile to my feet. Feet, smiling. Feet which give me stability and ability to walk. Breathing in, I'm aware of my toes. Breathing out, I smile to my toes. Toes, smiling. And breathing in, I'm aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I smile to my whole body. Whole body, smiling. And breathing in, I'm aware of all my blood, my veins and arteries running through the whole body. Breathing out, I smile with appreciation to all the blood through my body. And breathing in, if you can imagine all your cells of your body. Feeling a sense of gratitude to all these cells that give us life. Thank you, cells. So thank you, body, and thank you for this sense of this life that each one of you play an important part in me, in offering me my life. And now I'll invite two sounds of the bell to close this particular guided meditation. Those of you who have your eyes closed, just still be aware when you hear the sound of the bell or the miracle of hearing. When later you open your eyes, be aware of the miracle of seeing. So you might want to massage your face, massage your legs. So thank you very much for taking time to care for your body. This is a practice, of course, we can do anytime. We can scan our body lying down. We can do it sitting in any posture we want. The lying down, deep relaxation posture is wonderful because you're actually relaxing your whole body. You don't always have to be sitting up for this. And of course, you might think that, it's a very simple practice. And of course, these practices do help us develop those capabilities of mindfulness, of concentration. But actually, this sort of practice can also really help us with complete realization or liberation. There's a sutra called the Avatamsaka Sutra. And in that, it says that every dust contains every other particle of dust. So in that sense, we can say that you can meditate on even one hair. And in that hair, you will see the interpenetration of all reality. So even though this might seem quite a simple practice and a practice of caring for the body and really feeling a sense of gratitude for the body, I think it's important to realize that it's not just a practice that you can just be looking at a body scan, but looking at that you can also get a deep realization. Sometimes you might be doing the practice and you might remember a friend who has a heart problem. Of course, just stay with it, stay with your own practice, but maybe you might think of bringing that person up later or being more caring towards that person or whatever. But I think these sort of practices are good practice to do every day, especially at this time when health is at such a premium. There's a global fear because of health, because of the coronavirus. So I think it's important to be able to look at our bodies like that, be thankful to our lungs, thankful to our breathing channel. In this way of awareness and joy. We had asked last week that some people had questions, and I thought that unfortunately we still haven't worked out Zoom, but I think there's one question which came just now from Sayyam, and I don't know if she can come on screen. I think she had a question, and somebody was helping me with the technical stuff. Yeah. Is Sayyam there?
Yes, I am. I'm just trying to start my video.
Okay.
Thank you, Shantum. Thanks so much. And, enormous gratitude to you and Ahimsa Trust to make this happen in these times. My question is that, I have especially somebody like me who's, I've always excused myself saying that, oh, I'm too busy for the practice, or I'm too sad, or I'm too fearful, or I'm too exhausted. But I just feel that today I've been stripped of all my excuses. You know, I have all the time in the world, but I'm still not able to develop a routine. So how do I do that? You know, a routine that is, you know, more solid than any fear, you know, than any outward circumstance. I'd love to have that routine, but I've not been able to manage. If you could perhaps help.
Well, um, you know, I think not everyone is a disciplined person. And of course, the obvious answer to that sort of question is to have a discipline in your life and set timings for yourself and, you know, try and structure the day in that sense. But I hear something else in your question. I hear that you would like to do it with that sense of laziness. And that is a very profound practice. Thich Nhat Hanh often calls himself a lazy monk. There was a famous 8th century teacher in Nalanda University who called himself the lazy monk, Shantideva. But their practice is very much what we might call the practice of aimlessness in a sort of way, that you're not trying to really achieve something, enlightenment or some sort of a goal, which I'm hearing that many of us try and do, but try and really live whatever you're doing in total awareness and mindfulness. It's like in Plum Village, we have something called Lazy Day. So it's the same sort of practice you do as every day, except you don't have bells to remind us that there's a time for sitting meditation or walking meditation or anything like that. So you can leave your day in a way unstructured, which I think would be your tendency, since I know Sayam a little bit. But whatever you do, you try and do with a complete awareness. In Sanskrit or Hindi called aparanahita, which is a type of practice of aimlessness. And in that practice of aimlessness, you touch nirvana. Because when you're really present with each moment, with each action, with each breath, then you touch that sense of absorption with reality. So it may not be very helpful. I think it's more appropriate to you. Some people may have the same question, but it may be, I might talk more about structuring your day and, you know, fixing times for sitting meditation, eating meditation, etc., and study and practice. But I think in your case, I would say just go with each moment of the day in full awareness. So when we wake up in the morning, like I mentioned last time, and again with this practice, we can just wake up, feel our whole body, feel the breath, just bring that awareness of, wow, we have 24 brand new hours. We can live them in a way with joy and compassion. When we move the position of our body, like we said last time, like we were saying about what's mentioned in the Satipatthana Sutra, be aware that you're moving your posture from your lying down position to your sitting up position, from the sitting up position to a standing position, from a standing position to a walking position. So I think all this is just part of this aimlessness type practice and the lazy practice. But actually, it sounds something like it's very easy, but it's not always easy, because our mind always, as I was saying, we live neck upwards, and our mind rushes off here and there trying to tell us this next project we should be doing or not. So I think my advice on this, Sayam, would be to whatever we do, whether it's brushing our teeth or whether it's walking in the garden, just be present. And if you're seeing a flower, you know, the flower is present for you. And the question to ask ourselves is, are we present for the flower? And that's a simple but profound question. And it makes us stop and say, So that's just a little question for yourself. If you can do that sort of practice. So don't beat yourself about it. That's the worst thing you should be doing, is beating yourself about, oh, I'm not practicing enough, I'm not good enough as a practitioner. What should I do? Should I, you know, because if you are disciplined, great. But if you're not disciplined, this is a great practice. And if you're disciplined and do this practice, even better. But don't self-flagellate. Yeah, don't beat yourself over it. I don't know if that's helpful, Sam. Is that helpful?
Yes, Yes, thank you so much. That solves a lot for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I was thinking that next week we'll, again, we shifted the time a bit. We're hoping we can get more people. We haven't quite worked out our Zoom thing because people thought that an hour later would be good. But I thought I'll continue on the body a little bit and sharing a little bit how the elements fit in with the body, how we can do a meditation like that. But I am keen that we do practice and explain the practice of this. And rather than a lot of theory. But again, the homework, if you would like homework, try and do this practice of scanning the body, being appreciative of the body, this love meditation for your body this week. And I think it's a great practice. And if you find that there's a particular part of your body which is feeling pain or sickness or something like that, just try and relax that area of the body through the breath. Breathing in, I'm aware of a tension in my shoulder. Breathing out, I relax my shoulders. And just work with that for a little while. And I think that's also quite a helpful way of allowing your mindful energy to penetrate into certain parts of the body which may need your care. And I think that's something which is a way of helping us, soothing us. And so both as an awareness and bringing that awareness to each part of our body. And then if you really have time, try and focus on even one part of the body and look very deeply at that part of the body. And both with appreciation, but also with insight, looking at our interconnected nature with all reality. So it's now 6:45. I will now invite three sounds of the bell, and I'll invite one half sound of the bell where we can bow out. At that point, or even now, actually, if you want to put on your videos, please do, because it'd be nice to see people. The thing is that we were advised not to put people on video because it would take too much bandwidth. And so it was considered not very sensible. But it's very nice for me to see people because actually I was speaking pretty much to a blank screen, which kept going on and off. But I should thank you for joining us. It's really a pleasure to have a global Sangha. And also I feel that if it's helpful, please do, practice. That's the main thing. I'm extremely grateful to my own teacher and community for sharing these practices and keeping this tradition of the Buddha alive. So we are all part of that larger family. And I think if you have any questions, do send them by email. I don't know whether we'll manage to do this video question again. I hope we'll get better next week. We thought we could increase our bandwidth to 500. We didn't manage, but by next week, inshallah, we will manage. So I'm going to invite three sounds of the bell and then one sound of the bell just to bow out. Do you remember to keep smiling? Even when you're feeling grumpy and alone or whatever, feeling like, this yoga of smiling, huh? The serotonin and all that stuff. It starts giving you good vibes. Thank you so much. See you next week.